Good morning, everybody. This is Van Hargis with Van Hargis Horsemanship. And of course, this is the Ranch Road. Have you guys ever wondered why we use so many construction terms in horsemanship? Probably foundation is the one that you're most familiar with. Oh, you got to put a good foundation on that horse. You know, a horse is only as good as his foundation. A house is only as good as a foundation. You got to build your house on a rock. You can't build it in the sand. It's got to have a good foundation. You've heard terms like that. Then you also hear terms of frame. Oh, you want that horse to be framed up right. Oh, you got to have that frame of that house nice and square. In other words, it's all got to be good and in frame. Another one that you'll hear sometimes, this is a lot more in your performance training, you might hear the term window. Oh, you want that horse's head in a certain window. You don't want it too high, you don't want it too low, too far to the left or too far to the right. You want it in that window. Now, the reality is why we use so many of those construction terms goes right back to that foundation aspect. In other words, it's so important for us to make sure that things are balanced, that they're square, that they're framed well, that they're I guess balanced. I'm going to go back to the word balance. That they're balanced really well. And as long as everything is really balanced and square and in place properly, all on that rock solid foundation, then as a result of that, you end up with a much better horse, a more consistent horse, a horse that you can build on, a horse that you can ask more of later, a horse that will sustain, meaning that he'll last a while. His training is good and it's going to be there with him for a while. But if that foundation is weak, or if the frame is not balanced and square, or if the horse is not carrying his head properly in the window, so to speak, then as a result of that, the horse is going to be imbalanced. And imbalance means he's also probably doesn't have a really good rock solid foundation. So if I could encourage anybody to do anything is learn more about those terms and learn how those terms apply to your horsemanship, and think a lot about foundation, think a lot about frame, think a lot about window, and ask yourself, what sort of foundation do I really want on my horse? What do I need to learn about a foundation? What makes up a good foundation in horsemanship? How do I get my horse in frame, and why is it so important to have him in frame? And what difference does it make how a horse carries his head, left, right, up, down, high or low? What difference does it make? You see, because the more of that information that you know and that you understand, then the better it helps you to start applying your time with your horses more productively. And as you start spending that time more productively, achieving that better foundation, that better frame, that better window of which the horse is carrying himself, as a result of all of those things, you'll end up with a better horse. The better horse you get and the more you learn about those things, the more confidence you'll gain. So many times I run across folks who really lack confidence, and their lack of confidence is the foundation of that is that they just don't know enough about their horse, and they don't know enough about their own personal skills. They can't marry those two together. And with that doubt there, it creates a lot of doubt and miscommunication, and of course a lot of lack of confidence. So what we want to do is we want to learn more about those things, learn more about those terms that we use in construction when we're building a horse and we're building that up. The more you learn those, the more you begin to apply those, the more you learn to achieve those, then the more confidence you'll gain in both yourself and your horse. Hope that tidbit helps you guys. I appreciate you always for joining me on the Ranch Road. And until next time, this is Van Hargis with Van Hargis Horsemanship.